Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I am Sophie, your tour guide into the world of the Chinese language and culture. What we do here is learning one new expression every day in a Markov chain fashion. That is, we're going to learn one word and then carry over into the next day a new word or new expression. But this too got a one linking character. That way you see the same character used in a different context. And you don't need to remember anything. You can just sit back, enjoy. Let me explain to you how Chinese works. So yesterday we talked about the deja vu, Chinese expression 似曾相识. So I didn't give you a clear explanation of how the word 相 becomes mutual. 相 by itself comes with two parts, the wood signifier and also the eye. You can see an eyeball in the middle, right? So the eye looking at the wood. So that's like, reading up the situation, the environment, and how it becomes mutual. There's no clear explanation on this, how the word meaning evolve over the time. But my interpretation is for the person to read on the environment, if the environment is actually another person, this other person is going to read off what the first person is reading. So there is this mutual reading and keep reading off each other and understanding and interacting accordingly. So that becomes like an eternal loop between the two. And that is mutual. That's how it works. It sort of makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you too. And the last word, 时, I didn't really spend much time on it either, but it comes with left and right. The left is the meaning maker, right is a sound maker. The sound maker by itself sounds like 知. It's a ZH pronunciation marker. But when it combined with the left side, the meaning maker, this meaning maker means something about speaking, talking, oration, and that becomes 时. So you kind of have the original sound, but it transformed into a new sound. But combined together, it means somebody who is well-spoken. That is interpreted as being knowledgeable. So it's something related to know. So there you go, deja vu. And we are going to learn the new expression today that with this 时 word in it. And that 时 kind of a carryover, it's same meaning. Except like in English, we kind of transform the word into adjectives or verbs. Like over here, mutually known, right? You have to use know to signify it's something already happened in the past. But over here, it's knows. So because the object is, the subject is old horse, so it has to be knows, but the same meaning. It means, you know something, you recognize something. And then let's start with the full phrase. 老马识途. 老马, old horse. So the first word, 老, old. It is one of commonly used character in Chinese, right? And here I captured like how the word looked like originally. So the most ancient kept Chinese characters are written on shells, right? Like a turquoise shells. That's how it passed down so many thousands of years for us to see its original form. So it looks like a person walking, holding a cane, right? So that movement image becomes the meaning, like, oh, that signifies, that's the picture that creates in people's mind that relates to people in their older age when they need to walk with a cane. 马 is also a word that came from the image. So originally, this one horizontal line were written with 4 dots, signifying 4 hoofs of horse galloping. But for efficiency purpose, it becomes 1 horizontal line. And then we can see here the horse's head with the manes behind, and the horse's frame, the body, and the 4 hoofs. Right? So that also came from a picture, an image of the horse. Nose, 途, okay, the path. So this word, if you see this structure with a dot on the top and something come down and then there's an extended line in the back, that means it's related to walking. We have many words with something sitting on top of this, but slightly different meaning. And this, when it comes to like walking, combined with this yu, original sound is yu. And when they put together, it becomes 途. Doesn't sound like a good sound carryover, but this is like the meaning maker, and this yu is the sound maker. Together, it becomes path. It could be, basically it's like your path. You have a route from A to B. That's the meaning. And altogether, there's a story behind how the expression came into being. Basically, it was happened before the first emperor in China, like unified many smaller kingdoms, like the battling with each other. And before then, so it was a battling time between many kingdoms, right? So one of the kingdom was under siege by enemy invaders, and then it asked for help from the third country to support them. And then the third country came from, of course, a faraway land, coming to this unfamiliar terrain, and they fought the war and they won. And when it came, it's the springtime. When they returned, it's wintertime, and the path was covered by snow, and the whole army walking back home couldn't recognize the way because everything covered in white. And someone got this brilliant idea of, okay, use the horse. The horse may know the path, and indeed they follow the horse. So normally it's the riders ride on horse, tell horse where to go, right? But in this case, they let the horse lead them out of this foreign terrain for them. So then that becomes a known story of, okay, in the situation of where you lost your way, rely on the horse. So I interpret it as animal instinct, because navigation is really like animals are just better, probably because they survive in the wilderness more than humans. So they, as an instinct, they have to mark their locations. They have to have a good sense of direction and navigate through, even if they pass somewhere only once. So by some scent or whatever marking, they can get back to their original starting point. And here I put a Chinese artwork with a person and a horse, and that's how horses were depicted in Chinese art, with a pretty gigantic body, and looks like a pretty obedient. It's not like a there are many different images of horses throughout Chinese art, and this is one depiction. And you can see the person, the dress of the person is covered by long gown. So that signifies that person is actually not a working class, so to speak, in our today's term, that doesn't need to move around a lot or use his have a full range of movement with his body to work. Right? So he wears a long gown and with this headgear to kind of signify, okay, this is actually a literature person. a person who works with words, like writing, speaking, making poetry, and governing, probably, because back then, people with good read and writing skills, like who are literature person, because back then the literacy rate is so low. So whoever can read, and from the ancient wisdoms passed down generations through books, that they are probably better positions to govern in however big region they are assigned to. So this is the depiction of the horse and human relationship dynamic over there. The whole phrase 老马识途, even if it's it came from the story, this wartime story, and it talked about the horse has this instinct to tell you, like a horse acts as a GPS for you, right? But it can also refer to a person. So old horse, the horse can also refer to person, means like in situations unknown to you, or you're lost or something, you can get advice from older person who have lived long enough or seen long enough to be able to give you some sage advice. And that's kind of a Chinese ageism, which is like a Chinese culture trust and respect older people, men or women alike, like respect them just a lot more. And they the young, the inexperienced really listen to the old. And phrases like this capture this concept of when you feel lost, you don't know the way, consult with people senior to you so that they may know better. Okay. So that's today's phrase, 老马识途. Tomorrow we're going to learn a new phrase that involves with the horse. Continue with the horse story. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you for your time.